We just got done reviewing parks, and
their playmat.
I ripped the playmat much like I'm gonna rip this shirt.
Much like that, it went terribly wrong.
Let's talk about it. What does that even mean, Bowers Game Corner? Hi there, YouTube. We're back again today for another Thoughts from the Corner here with my good friends Lucy.
Hey.
And Adam.
Hey.
And we got a throwback one. We're going to be checking out Parks, which came out a couple years from Keymaster Games. It's for 1 to 5 players, ages 10 plus, taking about 30 to 60 minutes to play. And when this came out, there was a good deal of buzz about it. It had amazing artwork, gorgeous components. It had that peaceful, tranquil theme, which is all the rage right now. And once again, just absolutely gorgeous components. But in this game, it's one of those games where you're going to move to a spot, but once you move to that spot, you can never go backwards. So, if you go forward 4 spaces, you can never go back, similar to, I believe it's Tokaido. Yeah, there's a bunch of other games like that, except this one, you're going across the national parks, you're going to get canteens, which will give you special abilities, persistent things, you can gain gear, which will get you persistent special abilities, and ultimately you're trying to visit a bunch of these different parks, which are going to have symbols on the bottom. That's a terrible example. They'll have symbols on the bottom, and if you turn in those symbols when you go to a certain spot, you'll get points, and pretty much you're going to take pictures, get those cards, gain points, win the game, or fail miserably. What are our thoughts on Parks? And we've played this both twice now, but it's been a while in between the gameplays.
This was the first time I played it.
Okay. I think I played it 3 times. I think you played it twice.
Yeah.
All right. So who wants to start with it?
It's a nice little mishmash of like Tokaido, like you said, and also like has like that splendor elements or like that golem game where you can essentially collect certain gems.
Century Spice Road.
Yeah, Century Spice Road, like collecting a material of different kinds and then spending them to get essentially either new abilities through like the gear cards or just to get points. Is this sort of like a little mini point salad game? I don't know how well it meshes together those elements. Mainly because it's just a little too... It's not confrontational at all. Like, it's definitely like, if this is like a passive-aggressive game as like I've ever played.
There's a way... You can only have one person on a spot, but you have a campfire and you get to refuel your campfire, at least once per round. I will say I disagree a little bit on the point salad thing, and I would say that in a negative way, because I think that would have added to my enjoyment of the game if there was just another way to score points, because it really just boiled down to, you get your end-game scoring card, which is like cool, but you're not going to focus too heavily on that. It's only 2 or 3 more points.
It seemed really weak on those.
Yeah.
Especially for how difficult it was to do.
I agree. And honestly, I said this, I feel like this is a game that, for me personally, I really need an expansion.
Yes.
I want them to take off the training wheels a little bit. I know they were going for a lighter game here, and I understand that, but
it's too long for how light it is.
Well, we also played it at 5 players this time, and it did. I think all of us would agree it outstays its welcome at 5 players, undoubtedly. And honestly, I don't know if I'd want to go back and revisit it 4 players either. I think Josiah had it right. I think 2 players or 3 players would probably be the sweet spot for this one.
Yeah.
But even then, that sweet spot, I don't think is going to be great. I think it's going to be good to very good.
I mean, it's good, because if you think about that, like when you have like 3 players over, there's not that many games that really suit well for 3 players. So this is a nice little lighter game, and like maybe you're waiting for somebody who's like, okay, I'm going to be an hour late. This isn't too bad, because you can just like essentially just call it any time, just be like, hey, Michael is here now. We can just let's just cut the points as soon as like everybody gets back to the road or something.
But here's my argument to that. I could probably name about 15 games just off the top of my head right back in here. And as long as I knew the rules, and we could go through it, I think most of us would probably pick all 15 of those games over this one. Like, I don't think this is great by any stretch of the imagination, except for the components. Yeah. Like, nothing about this just screams at me, oh my gosh, they just nailed that, except for the components. But what do you think, Adam? You haven't really said much.
I just feel like while I was playing this, I never felt like I was I was accomplishing much. It just felt like
or invested.
Like I can do things, but am I delaying for what purpose? And why am I trying to get here when only 2 spots can actually give me points on the board? And it just felt like it was a convoluted. Like I was going around the corners in order to get to the door I'm sitting next to.
The thing, I guess with the whole randomizing events, because I'm trying to think of like other games with this, like Tokaido, but the events and things are stationary. You know what's coming up each time you go there, and also there's multiple spots for people to go. so you're not like completely out of turns. When sometimes when you don't want to spend your campfire to go to a second spot, somebody else does, you have to make a choice of like, do I just have to skip 5 things ahead and just like bodyguard that spot now?
Yeah. And that's not really a fun choice, which I think is an interesting observation, because like I love games where there's tons of hard choices, but they're fun choices. Like, oh shoot, should I do this or should I do that? Whereas this one, it's just like,
well, I mean, toward the end, I had the resources that I needed. I could have just gone and ended it, but I was like, well, I'm just gonna hang out here and go to spots where other people want to go, and that's what I was gonna do. And I mean, it didn't work out. I mean, I lost, but and Josiah won by a lot.
He did.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even close.
It wasn't.
So here's the other thing that I do want to ask. Oh, I do want to mention is the rule book. I wasn't the biggest fan of the rule book. Now, in all fairness, we did watch a 9-minute video first, which the video is okay. I don't think it's great, but it's okay. But we did have to go back to the rules quite frequently. And there was, in fact, one rule that was not answered. And then I got on Board Game Geek, and the publisher of the game, the designer of the game, didn't answer the damn Board Game Geek question, which drives me nuts. But it's a question you're going to run into every 5-player game, I would imagine. Well, a lot of 5-player games, and it's just like, it seems like a big oversight. It just, I don't know. It's
a lighter game. I do think that like, because this is ages 10 and up, and like you can definitely like teach this like to your kids to like just like want to get them into wargaming, but like maybe like they're kind of a little competitive. Like this wouldn't be a game that hurts feelings. And this would be like a nice little, like, again, like the 3-player count is perfect because there's not a lot of good 3-player games that you can just put out there. I think there's an audience for this.
Yeah,
I
but
think
the thing
more
is,
higher,
it's lackluster.
It's lackluster. It's like this is like a first board, not a first board game, but just like something that's you can whip this out for like anybody. Like I think the higher you are of just like when you know more board games, when you know more what you like this one definitely diminishes the value.
If you own this game, would you? And you, in those people, those exact people, those specific people, you said that might work for them. Would you get this out though, Lucy?
Yes, because it's a simple game. Like as soon as like you know the rules, like it's a simple game to teach, and it's something that is not confrontational. It's something that like it definitely like it probably might like just take like a season out if it's like to shorten it.
Yeah.
But even still, like, it's not I wouldn't have to worry about, like, explaining timing to some people about certain games. Like, some games timing matters. This one, not so much. I don't think it's my audience. Like I said earlier, like, if you would give me this game, I probably wouldn't take it. I had debated buying this one because it's a good game for, like, some of my friends who aren't so into board gaming that I know it's a safe one.
Would you rather play this or Splendor with them? Just out of curiosity.
Oh.
Now I know Splendor's like a heavy hitter, so that's kind of not fair. But I'm just because I feel like this has more meat to it.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's someone who's like, oh, they don't really play a lot of games, but I want to get them into the hobby.
I don't feel like I did introduce this. There's a lot of, like as Josiah said, and I kind of disagreed with him. There's a lot of moving parts and moving pieces.
They're not that complicated. They're not even like there's only really 2 major things of just like buying the parks and like just timing your. Essentially just like when you spend them.
Here's the thing: if you're new to a game, to playing board games and stuff, like, and you're looking at those gear cards, and you're like we have played a lot of games. We know, like, a 1 discount on a tree that can really pay off in the long run. But they're like 1 discount for a tree. I don't want that.
Yeah.
No, I can see that like new gamers, like they play if they were to play this first, they would be like, wow, I would have changed so many things when I played. And they're thinking about that the whole time and like, oh, like it made it unenjoyable.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's also like it could also be like a thing like, oh, I can try this next time because it's something new for them. I do admit, like this game, like you don't feel like you're playing different from your friends. Like you're just following them. It's just a chance of luck of like, oh, they got the resources. Like, oh, I bought this thing that gives me like a 2 discount on stars. Oh, there's no stars to buy. Well, guess this gear's kind of useless now.
And that's the other thing. I don't really feel like I would ever like find like I'm never gonna hone in on like what my strategy is. Like you're at
it's random because of the placement of the locations and what comes out for parks.
And the card you start with. Oh well, you start with 2, but it's also just there's not that many ways to escape the box. Like I said, I think it's just I need a 3rd scoring option to really unlock this game.
I would like something that gives this for people who like are more intermediate into board gaming. This needs something a little more teeth. Something that gets them like perk, like something that gives them an extra perk that like something sets them apart from doing different strategies.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna. This is a new thing on Thoughts in the Corner. I want a number. I want your number out of 10. People love numbers. Not you. Not for your fucking friends, Lucy. For you.
For me,
For you and for you, Adam. Not for your friends.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with a 7. 7. I think it's good.
You were
I think it is
nicer
a
than I was.
good. Well, 7 is where I have 8 is great. 7 is good. 7.5 is where we're getting to very good. I think this is a good game. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's terrible. I would play it again. I might play it again with my son, but it's just it doesn't beckon me to come back to it, which is unfortunate because when I see artwork like this and I see components like this, and I gotta look at this. Look at this playmat. It's so thick. Look how thick this playmat is.
That's clearly an extra, though, right?
Oh my god!
You just destroyed it.
Don't!
No,
Oh my god!
oh god! It was
Wow.
gonna. I thought it was gonna stick. I didn't think it was gonna rip.
Don't do that. I mean, with any of your player
It
mats,
felt thick
I don't
and sturdy.
know why he did
No,
that.
look at the outside. Look at I thought it was good because look at that. Look how double weave that is compared to
It's
the
not
other one.
gonna.
I mean,
Don't rip
it's
shirts.
just like a normal mat.
No, it does not look. No. So
Oh,
look,
yeah, okay.
It totally
I see.
looks
Well,
different.
this is an
Yeah.
animal mat.
Well, this is funny.
They have to last.
Oh wow, that one actually.
Wow, so, I mean, you did stretch it out,
Stop!
but this one actually shredded.
Why are you the worst? to your products?
I did. I didn't think it was gonna rip. I thought this one would rip.
Don't rip that.
Well, this is
What?
just a generic. I
Why
don't.
are
Do you
you
want
doing
this? I don't want it. I think that was a giveaway. No, I
Anyway.
was trying to say how nice the mat was.
And then you ripped it like the monster you are.
All right, so
Alright,
7 for me.
For all the
What's
times
your
in the
number?
future when we're going to play this,
Don't give
we're always
Forrest
gonna
a game
remember.
that he thinks at 7 out of 10. He'll
apologize.
rip it apart.
I think, scoring wise, I would say, like, a 5 would be like half of the games are lower than it, half of the games are higher than it.
Okay.
I would probably put this about like a 5.7.
Wow.
Yeah, like a
Do you think it's a good game?
I think it's good. It's not.
So you're saying a 5.7 is
No,
good?
I don't know.
Well,
Maybe it's not.
I mean, like,
I don't know.
Maybe it's not good? Was that what you're saying?
Maybe it's not good.
I think it's.
And the more I think about it, the
Yeah.
more I didn't enjoy myself while I was playing this game.
Mhm.
Well, do you think it would matter if you were playing with less players? Because this was your first time. And I remember when we played it before, I was like, this isn't bad.
It's not bad, but
Would
we
it be
never
better
felt
with
inspired
less
by it. I always
players?
kept reminding, like, because I remember I saw this in, like, Barnes & Nobles all the time now. And I'm like, oh, I remember playing that,
Yeah.
like, a while ago with
It would
Forrest.
be faster, and that might change things because if it were,
Honestly, not so
you know,
much.
if the game were done in half an hour, it's like, it was an okay half
But
hour.
to be honest, like, because remember,
how long did it take us to play that?
It took us a
It
while.
long
It
time.
took us quite a while.
but
But
at the end game, we were going super fast, too.
That's true.
there was some analysis paralysis at the beginning of the game, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, I'm not trying to pick on you here, but you
Yeah.
really did not remember it was your turn quite a few times, which is not
Yeah.
typically something you do that often, which goes to what you're saying, that you were
Yeah.
disengaged from this game.
I
Yeah.
really was just in.
I was pretty
It's-
disengaged too, and I felt like I was doing decent for a while, but I was just like, oh well.
The more that because, like,
So you're going 5.7.
Yeah, 5.7.
I'll go
yeah,
7.
I'm like 6.
6.
Because it's a great. Honestly, playing games with you now, my standards are lower. In like the best way possible. Like I didn't realize people publish games that weren't games, so
That is fair. This is definitely a game.
and it has a good production value.
It
it's
does.
Nice
Mine is-
somebody cared about it.
Playmat looks really good.
Because it's both.
But
Not,
that didn't come with the game, right? That was like an extra
I think
add-on or
they
something.
gave it to me.
Yeah.
yeah, but you can probably buy this easily though. But
I'll sell mine.
also, yeah, the ripped part, yeah, just slightly
Deep
used.
discounts.
But
It's an okay game.
so you're in the okay cat.
It's
Weren't you just
okay.
beating the drum like I would play this with my friends?
I would, but like I'm also thinking about like my other standards is like would I buy this game? I've seen it so many times. I have like the membership, and I'm like, no, I wouldn't buy this game. I kept reminding myself like, didn't I play this? I think I enjoyed it, but why am I not buying it?
$6, and I'll throw in the playmat. $5.50. All right, we'll do this off camera. We'll sell this stuff.
Keep lowering the price.
I would not
this is how
purchase
you-
it at that price.
This is how you haggle people.
Oh god, this went off the rails. That is
Yeah.
Parks from Keymaster Games. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below. Also, in the comments below, let me know when was the last time you destroyed one of your board games on purpose or on accident or somewhere in the middle.
I mean, usually just like games that like I've accidentally destroyed because they're in my car because I live in my car.
What was the last one where you couldn't find a piece? You're like, fudge.
Probably, which I was really upset about it. It's like that old with the Arthur and the Knights one where there's one betrayer.
No, that's such a good game. But it's from
Shadows
Yellow.
over Camelot.
Shadows over Camelot.
Yeah.
Not Yellow.
I got that game.
Days of Wonder.
It's a great game.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the last game that I knowingly I gave Dig Down Dwarf to Marvin when he was like 2 years old to play with because the components are pretty hefty and things, but yeah, he lost like all the gems and
That's a fun game.
yeah, it is a really fun game. But now they have the mint tin ones
I saw that.
yeah, I'll probably go down on that because that game was fun.
For me personally, it was Parks. You know, I thought this was a nicer playmat. Well, no, look at these. Look at it looks like it's totally
Yeah, it does.
fancy. And I assume
I think it was fancy, but you were just like
Yeah, you were really going at it.
You-
I
going
read
at
it on this one too. Look at this. Like two people. You pull.
Okay.
We're gonna go.
Oh.
We're gonna go. Ready? Now we're gonna do it with Parks.
Oh.
Well,
Other
this is
side.
important. This is a stress
Oh,
test.
this is good.
Other side,
Okay.
where's not
Okay.
red.
Nobody's gonna be doing this. What are you talking about?
Oh, stop it. See, why would you do that to my
So,
game?
who do you think commonly puts their game back down and just like stretches it over the whole table?
I was trying to show the durability of the product because I was gushing about the components because that's the only thing that I felt like a gush about.
Japanime Games has really good playmats.
But okay, bye bye.
Oh my god!